back to normal, so obviously we're back to normal and we can, meet in person and all that type of stuff. But, a lot of guys have reached out to me and wanted to do a Zoom and go through some football stuff that couldn't get to Pittsburgh. So, hopefully this will help some guys out. And this is just kind of how I see the receiver position through my lens, right? I'm just authentic to how I teach it, and how I learn the position. Okay. So, for me, just bio real quick for you guys who haven't known me or anything like that is, I had to really learn the receiver position from the bottom up. I mean, this is only my second year coaching receivers at the Division I level. As a high school head coach, offense coordinator, things like that. Always worked with the receivers, but most of the time I was really with the quarterbacks, working quarterbacks. So I've coached for 11 years now. But one of the things was growing up, I always was a running back, as a player, and they kind of switched me my senior year. I moved to receiver. So I went out to California, and was really green at the position. But I had a basketball background, and I really taught myself how to be a receiver through basketball. And when you look at some of the greatest to play this game, I got them up here on the screen. Devontae Adams right now, he's the guy right now. Jerry Rice played basketball in high school. Randy Moss was a great basketball player in high school as well. And then you'll see a picture of Jordan down there. And, most people think that you just get open with speed, right? Oh, he's fast. He's, it's all those intangible things. But one of the things that I've really seen over the years, coaching receivers and working with different guys that have basketball backgrounds, everything really starts from that triple threat position that you learn on your first day of basketball practice. You can catch the ball. When you catch the ball, you can shoot the ball, dribble the ball, or pass the ball, triple threat position. So you see Michael Jordan down here at the bottom of the screen in that triple threat position. And really, if you watch any elite basketball player, right, and if you've played basketball, you can set up your shot with just a jab step, just to create enough space, right? We always talk about it's about space and separation. So how does a guy, Jerry Rice, Devontae, that aren't 4'2", 4'3" guys, right? How did they get open, right? And we kind of just we're going to talk through some of those things today. So the big thing for me is really understanding how to break down this position and make it simple, because you got to make big plays, right? And you can't have a lot of things in your mind when you get out there. You got to be able to break it down and play fast, but also have, great fundamentals and techniques, especially when the talent gets equal. Okay, so as we go through this, all right, just some receiver standards, just simple stuff for you guys that coach high school, how do you create your room and talk about how you're talking to the guys, right? We talk about how you play without the ball determines how much you love your teammates, right? For that just eliminates the ego in the room, right? There's a lot of ego, but we look at our receivers like an elite basketball team. We want guys that have all types of different strengths. We don't want the same guy, right? We want guys that can all do different things, and we, accentuate their strengths, right? Layups and dunks, to me, that means, layups are the simple plays, right? Coach Norvell, who's the head coach at Florida State, was my receiver coach in college. And one game I complained about getting the ball, and he goes, well, what about that one you missed? So it's all those easy plays that add up at the end of the year. And then obviously you got to make those big plays, the dunks. Dominate the perimeter. We're physical as hell. And what we do, 100% ball security, taking care of the ball, that's simple, right? Insurance policy, right? Everybody talks about the receivers are divas, all those things. But when the game's on the line, you're going to throw that ball up, okay? You're going to throw the ball up, all right? And then dominate on special teams. I've actually been offered jobs because I sat in the front row of special teams meetings when I was a player. Okay, so special teams is important not only, in your career for your players, but after your career. That shows that you're a team guy. We want team guys. All right, so just simply breaking it down, how I break down each thing to the guy to make it very simple for him. Catching is your performance, blocking is your pride in the team and yourself and your family, right? Your people don't want to see you getting bullied and thrown all over the ground out there. Okay, stance and start is your platform, right? That's how we got to do anything. Anything starts from our stance and our start. Releases provide you an opportunity to get open, right? Route running is your precision in the route, right? Everything's vertical till it's not, right? Snapping it off, right? Being detailed, being in the spot you're supposed to be. Ball security, right, is protecting the football, and then run after catch is passion, right? So just trying to take you through some things that will help you go through this position. Then you guys got questions at the end. I want to kind of make this, open, right? Stance, start, stack, and stem, right? That's how you get started. Your stance, your start, your stack, and your stem. right? Boxer stance, right? We teach two different stances. All right, so boxer stance, right? You're more squared up. Your feet are in the grass. You're making sure, right? Your hands are over that guy's hands, and you're in a position to get press coverage, right? Okay, track stance, right? Now we're all our weights on our front foot. Our leg is loaded, our cocked, we're ready to be shoot out of a cannon, right? So a lot of times, right? I'll see guys teach the same stance or not care about the stance, but why would you do a stance in 100-meter? Like everything that you do, if you talk about running a fast 40, if you talk about running a fast 100, it's all about the start. And so if you get a free access corner, why not eat up the cushion and get in the best possible stance you can to do that? Why not change the stances, right? Now, sometimes you can, it's late, the guy presses you late, things like that. But if it was me, I hold the NCAA record for yards per catch. Anytime a dude played me off, I was getting it low and loaded and getting shot out of a cannon as fast as I could to get up on them and run past them, right? I don't want to be in a uptight position, hands all locked up. I want to be ready to fire and get loose and get out of there, right? Stack, right? We always talk about getting on top of the defender as fast as we can, holding our line, right? You want to finish where you started, right? And then stem, attacking and using the defender's leverage against them, right? Always want to use the defender's leverage against them. All right, so how we teach the releases, and I'm going to show you some video too, okay? But you guys can write this kind of down, and then we'll go through and I'll show you some of the video on how you do it, okay? So everybody thinks, okay, everything is the same, and it doesn't really work like that, okay? I teach, these are the ones that I teach, right? That I know, like the back of my hand, and I can teach and fix them if they don't work and be able to help guys out, right? So how we start these paths, right? You always want to start on a vertical path. You want to be going forward, right? So speed release is the first one because you want to get off the ball, right? Anytime you can, right? Free access, or if you're better than the guy and you feel like you can just run past them right now, you want to speed release, right? Foot fire, right? Now we're getting our feet in the grass, right? Now we got a harder corner and we need to kind of set them up, right? Set them up. We want to work half the man, cut the man in half, work half the side, right? We don't want to work against two arms. We want to work against one arm. Freeze release, okay? A freeze release. That's any type of subtle or sudden step off the ball, any type of hesitation move. We work a freeze release, okay? So now the guy's kind of there. I don't know what he's going to do, right? He's kind of motoring, pedaling slow or trying to hold me up, and I kind of freeze him and then move off the spot, right? But I still take that step going forward when I freeze them, right? Run them, okay? What run them means to us is we're just going to take them one way, keep our hips square, and we're gonna take them in or take them out, okay, on a run them release, and then work them off that spot. Move him off his spot, right? We got a stronger guy, but he got bad feet, okay? Think that. Cage is hat, hip, and hands, right? Cage. Okay, you saw, back in the day at Tulsa, Coach Malzone, we used to always use the cage release, right? A lot of teams have started to use that, right? I saw Alabama use it last year with Devontae Smith, caged the guy, then shocked and shed him, let him go, and then ran his release, right? The old Michael Irvin release, bully him. Okay, burst. Okay, a burst release is basically just your route running path. Okay, so burst, I start outside and I work down, I lose two, right? So if you got like a cover two corner, a circus route, okay, that's a burst release. Now, if you're starting in tight, okay, we call it a spray release, right? Now I'm working out vertical. Now I'm gaining two. Okay, drop step. I'm going across the field. I can just drop, boom, go across, right? I'll drop step with that other foot and put your body on that path right now to get there. Okay, so that is just the path. Okay, now becomes the actual steps. And this is a lot of stuff that you guys see on Twitter, when you see the A to B to C steps. Okay, that becomes at your first and second level releases. There's first and second level releases, okay, that a receiver will have to work on. So from a slot guy, you have first and second level releases. From an outside guy, typically you're really working at that first level. Okay. All right, so A step, okay, as we get into the jab steps, we're talking about jab steps, right? So if you talk about how violent do they need to be, these steps need to be violent. You really have to work on and train these steps for your athlete to be violent off the ball. I remember, Coach Norvell would always say, man, you only got one move, okay? Because in basketball, all I did my whole entire life is I want to be Allen Iverson. All I did was work a crossover, jab step, crossover, jab step, crossover. So when I got on the football field, a lot of the time, all I did was just do a jab step when a guy was pressing me, a step, right? That's a single stick one way with your left to right foot, just a single stick. Okay, now where this helps guys at, right? So last year I was at Hawaii, we had COVID year, and I was able to go out there and point to guys and tell them A, B, or C and give them what they could do off the line based off what I saw on film from the guys that we were playing against, and they had the advantage and we did not get pressed because I could show them exactly what they know what an A step is, what a B step. A B step is double jab. It's left, right, or it's right, left. Okay. And we all use different terminology, but we learned ABCs, right? That's kind of like the first thing we learned in kindergarten. 1, 2, 3. Everybody remembers that. Okay. So it's not like stick, shift, transfer your weight this way. It's just B step, left, right, or C step, right? Triple jab. That's left, right, left, or right, left, right. Okay. So now you can use this at the release point, the top of the route, okay? And the key to separation is your jab step, right? Anytime you see a guy separate at the end, he's typically jabbing or giving some type of a push off, okay? If he's not just running by him, okay? Close the space, don't make moves on air. We always work half the man, right? We always work against the leverage. All right, we want to win with our feet and just have a plan for our hands, okay? If I got a guy who can win with his feet every time, they can't touch you, they can't stop you, okay? But we need a hand fighting strategy, okay? So long arm, right? If you've ever been a gunner on punt team, long arm, jab his ass, get out of there, okay? Wash, okay? This really helped if you watch D linemen, right? D linemen, they get the strong offensive lineman, tackle puts his hands on them, 2-hand wash. Boom, we're just washing their hands. We're trying to mirror their hands and move them, okay? As we're on the move. Club and rip, simple, boom. Key in the elbow, boom, ripping through. Club and tight swim, boom. And really, when you go through these hand fighting strategies, we're just finding the best one for each guy if he needs it, right? We're just, you know, if it rains, he got a raincoat, he got an umbrella, he got rain boots, you know, we're just keep adding things to that guy's skill set, right? Cage, right? We talked about cage. Okay, I skipped to pull through. Okay, so pull through, I had a kid, Rico, last year. He was a really strong kid. He could grab your elbow and he could pull you through and rip through and run right past you. Grab that elbow and actually gain momentum and go past you. Okay, he's with the Steelers now. So if you got a stronger guy who's really strong, he can pull that guy's elbow and pull through. Okay, I saw back in the day, Billy Gonzalez, he used to do a lot of it with the receivers down there at Florida. Okay, studying their film back in the day, they're Indy. Okay, grab the towel, right? That is cutting down the surface area. You're going against a stronger guy, you can beat him. Boom, all I'm doing is just avoiding that 2-hand strike. I'm dipping my shoulder, right? I'm cutting down my surface area and I'm slipping the guy. Okay, getting skinny, all right? Hand on hip, okay? So now this is why we're in phase, running the route, okay? If his hands on my hip, I'm gonna swipe, okay? Swipe and push it down. If his hand's on my shoulder, I'm gonna swat, okay? Swat, right? Tell him like a bug's messing with your ear, right? Boom, get his hand off you, okay? Hands on end breaking routes, we're gonna swing, we're gonna push that back hip, okay? So we say swipe, swat, swing, simple, right? Swipe, swat, swing when we're talking about end phase route running, okay? All right, contested catches. I'll show you guys some of those drills, okay? But this is really the thing that I think kind of separates what we've done at a receiver position here, just that pit in this, just in the spring since I've been here, okay? Everybody talks about receivers catch the damn ball. Everybody gets mad, right? Everybody's upset when the receiver doesn't catch the ball. But typically I've traveled all over and seen a lot of different receiver coaches and worked with a lot of different receiver coaches. We do most of our catches on air. Okay. And then when you get into combative situation, then everybody's mad because you couldn't make that play. Right. So what I try to do is I just tried to, you know, as I studied the game and you go back through the history of the game, what are the type of catches that the receivers are having the most trouble catching? And how do we put those into our plan? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll backpedal, right? Think about all these if the quarterback throwing a bad ball, right? These aren't the perfect pass. These are the bad balls. Okay, so now you're in a situation, you got to slow down, you got to backpedal, you got to transition into a backpedal, you got to jump up and go get a high hands rebound, right? Shuffle. Okay, now I see the ball, right? Boom, I got to kind of slow down my body a little bit. I'm in that shuffle position. I'm in a weird position. The DB's all through me, coming through me, and now I gotta shuffle my body and go up and get the ball, right? Back shoulder, right? Now I'm working back shoulder. The guy's all over me. He's draped on me. Boom, and I got to make that back shoulder catch. Down the line, okay, this is a drill to get the fear out of guys' heart. One guy holds a mat, a crash mat, okay, And basically the guy just comes down the line. He's simulating having to, that close your eyes squint play, right? That coming over the middle, okay, down the line, right? Run free, okay? Run free. So now we're using our swat, our swipe, our swing, and our swivel, okay, to push off, right? To get that little extra push off that we get, okay? Boom. And on that last one, we're going to really overemphasize the swat or the swipe or the swing or the swivel, okay? The swivel is working the blind spot. So now I swung him, act like I'm going to hit him go back that way, and then boom, I break out the opposite way, right? Get in his blind spot, okay? On my back. So now I have a guy, right? Two guys together. He's on my back. He's coming all through me, right? His hands are through mine. And now I got to still go out there and reach out strong hands. And then the last one we do in the red zone is the PI drill. So now the DB has two hands on me. Okay. He has two hands on me. He's grabbing and holding me, and I still got to make the play, because that receiver, they still expect you to make the play. It doesn't matter how you're getting, messed with. Okay. So that's the combative work. We spend a lot of time doing the combative work. Right? In pre-practice, after practice, we do the on-air stuff, okay? But during practice, anytime we're during practice, we're gonna do contested catches.
Coach, question real fast. For that PI variation of the contested catches, are you working the PI from like different different points of the body? Like are one time you're pulling on the waist, another time you're pulling on the arm or the shoulder? Are you just doing different variations?
Yeah, so one time a guy will be on the side of you, right? You'll get two side shots, and you'll get one where the guy is basically backpedaling, he's holding you. So if you've ever been in the red zone, you had a bad release. Say you had a bad release, right? That happens at receiver. I had a bad release. DB's all over me, stuck on me. I can't get off. And now he's over the top of me. And now I got to still find a way to contort my body and make that play.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch to the film now. And we'll just go through some of the stuff that you heard, and we'll start the questions after you watch some of this film, just practice film. Okay, Coach, we good?
No, you still got your normal screen up.
Okay, hold on. How do I go back? Boom, boom. Okay.
You just have to share the new screen.
There it is. We good now?
Yes, sir. Good to go.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you watch these, and I'm gonna talk you through the stuff that we just talked about. Okay, so here we got, okay, a little bit of hesitation, a step, single step in the ground, gets up to the top of his route, boom, a step. See how he's going forward, right? So even though he's using that subtle hesitation release, right, he a steps to stem inside, gets back vertical, a step again. So what I'm telling him here is, if he did this route right here, he would do he did a freeze release, right? He did a freeze release. That was his path at the start. That was his start at the path right there, right? Freeze release. Then he went to a step right there. Then when he got to the top of the route, a step. So freeze to the A, right? Single jab. Watch the feet, just watch the feet. A step. A step is a single stick, no breakdown. Okay. Now we have a foot fire. Okay, foot fire, right? Subtle foot fire, real quick. He's working half the man, B step. Foot fire, B step. Top of his route. We're in the red zone, so we got time. He B steps from there to give him what? The slant illusion. The illusion of the slant, right? Slant fade territory. So foot fire is quick, right? B step, 1, 2. Left, right. Then left, right. Out of there. Okay. So foot fire again. B step, stem, boom. B step. So he goes foot fire, right, left at the top of the route. So this cuts down the verbiage and it gets the guys to learn quicker. We got to be efficient with our teaching on the field, right? Coaching cues, coaching commands. You don't have time to give them a full dissertation on the book, right? Take everything that you know in the book and simplify it into a way that you can get it to them quick, the information quick. Okay, so freeze, release, right? Freeze, club, tight swim. Keys to elbow. Watch him key to elbow. Boom. Right? So you've seen a multitude of different releases now. This is just all in the same practice. This is the same day. Okay. Freeze, release. He shoots the hand. When he shoots his hands, I shoot my hands. Boom. Freeze, release. Boom. Club and rip. Club and tight swim. Sorry. Boom. Finish. Okay. So we have multiple ways that we teach the foot fire. We teach the quick foot strikes, right? We teach the violent high knee foot strikes. Now you see the violent high knee foot strikes with a B step. Boom. That's where the contested catch practice comes in right here. The finish. Violent, 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 violent. Got to teach them to be just like D linemen. Violent, violent with everything they do. Okay. Receiver is not a passive diva position. Okay. It is a strong, violent, physical position. Okay. Football would have been extinct without the receivers coming. Okay. Everybody was tired of just seeing everybody run the ball in a cloud of dust. Then receivers, the forward pass came. Okay. Now you see him with the run them release. Now he's running them inside. See how he keeps his hip squared. He's moving them off the spot. He's being patient. We're in the red zone. Good. Back shoulder. Run them release. Run them inside 2 steps. Boom. B step. Run them inside. B step. Okay. Any questions before I go to the next thing?
Yeah, got one here, Coach. Do you decide what steps each individual player uses, mostly depending on what they're best at, or do you want each player to use A, B, and C steps?
I teach them A, B, and C steps. I teach them when it's supposed to be vital for them to use A, B, and C steps, right? I give them the information, right? I teach them all the release paths that I know, right? I teach it all to them. Sometimes guys have showed me something different and I go, well, that works for you, use it. Okay. But A, B, and C, I teach them where they're supposed to use it out on the field, how they're supposed to use it, and what DB, right, is not good at certain steps and what will take him off his spot and what'll win for him. Okay. So we do a little bit of everything. And it's kind of, you don't want a guy to get handicapped out there, get crippled up out there. Cause I've seen a lot of times where guys get robotic. They only have speed release. Okay. Speed release ain't working and the dude's just bodying them up and you can't throw the ball all game because you got only one release. So you have to be confident in teaching them multiple things and letting them be free, right? Because the ultimate goal is to put the ball in the hoop and score. And the more a guy can use, right, now that's simplified, that now he can really take his game to another level, right? With the path, right? The path is the start point. That starts me on my vertical plane. That gets me going, everything vertical, right? That starts, everything's a go till it's not. That gets me going. But now I need something to move him off the spot. Now I need my A or B or C step, as you've seen right here.
Got a couple more questions for you, Coach. Do y'all always have the receivers have their inside foot up in their stance?
No, we'll switch it. I mean, that's just right there. We were just working one side of the field, red zone. Guys had the right foot up, balls inside. I mean, we switch. I mean, we'll switch that around.
Another question was, if a release is working on the DB every time, should you keep it or change it up?
I tell a guy all the time, some guys, like, until they stop you from doing what you're best at, do what you're best at every single time. I always tell them the Kobe Bryant theory. I mean, jab, step, pull up, jab, step, pull up, jab, step, pull up. Do it all game. I mean, if they can't stop it, why would you change it? Right? And then have that counter move, right? We're always working. We're teaching, we're training, we're working on the negatives, we're accentuating the positives. When the positive, right, the strength, when you're in that situation, when you're in that man-to-man combative situation, you use your strength, operate in your strength, use the thing that you know that's going to work for you, right? Absolutely. Now, if he takes away something in the game, now you know that I have a couple other counter moves. I got some other stuff in my bag that I can use. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Last question here, Coach, was asked, when do you have your guys peak for the football?
I think that's really a field thing. I don't think that you can really, like, I think that's a natural, that's guys playing certain levels of football based on how well they do that, right? That's what'll dictate the certain levels that you can train guys' eyes and how they catch the ball, their hand placement, things like that. But it's going to be hard to say peak here, peak there.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Coach, another question came in, and then we'll grab this one, and then we'll move on. Do you teach them releases based off coverages, and if so, how do you teach them to recognize coverages?
Well, everything off of the coverages is first, how's the corner playing me, right? Is he a trap corner, a free access corner, or a press corner, right? The corner levels, right? And then when he plays press, how does he play press? Is he hard inside? Is he motoring off the ball? Right? Is he patient? Is he putting hands on me? Right? So there's ways that you teach it from, okay, I'm the outside guy, and this is how this guy is going to play, right? Then there's the safety rotation. What do I see when I'm in my stance, right? Keying the safety that the O-line, the running back, and the quarterback are keying. I'm able to key him as well and give me that coverage indicator pre-snap, and does post-snap, the picture that I took pre-snap, still stay the same, right? And I think most guys, when you first get out there, right, there's a progression at receiver, just like there's a progression at every position. You just want to get on the field and make a play, and you're just an athlete, right? And then the game starts to slow down for you, and you're able to see those things as you train it, right? But you can't train it no other way other than breaking down the film with the guy, right? So I coach quarterback, so I love to just sit in there all day. So we had some young receivers who played last year, and they were great athletes, right? And they made a lot of plays because they were great athletes. Now, when we watch film together, they can immediately go, that was cover 3. That was 3 strong. That was 3 weak. That was press quarters. That was this. That was that. They know, boom, because we're sitting in there. And every single time before the play, what is it? Boom, as soon as the play starts, I stop the film after a split second. Okay, what is it now? Boom, and you just keep training their eyes. Now in their stance, they're able to think about that, right? So now they're not screaming, I'm open, and don't have a clue why they're open. They're just saying I'm open. Right now, they can actually go to the quarterback and say, man, the safety did this, the corner played me this way. Boom, this is why I should have been open here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got, let's get this, another one just came in.
Okay.
Do you allow your players to try out steps early in the game to find their rhythm to set up the DB? Or do you allow them to have a go-to move in crunch time?
I want their best move to be what they start the game with and what they finish the game with. I want them to have confidence in their best move, that they can do their best move on anybody in the country, okay, at any time, that they need to use their best move, right? You wouldn't tell somebody not to use their best signature thing, right? So I want them to use their best move when their best is needed, in the biggest game and the hardest situation. I want them to be able to do that, right? We teach other things. So if their best is not working, or someone is really bad at something, we played a team last year. They had this corner that was really good, but every team that he played, they released the same way into him, right? So I saw on film, even though the guy might not have been getting the ball, right? This is our job as coaches. We're supposed to gather information, right? I saw every time that they used this release on him, he got beat. Now the ball didn't always go to that guy, but he got beat every time they used this release. So I said, look at this, fellas. Let's really look at this. Let's really work on this release this week and use it. And we ended up having a big game against a kid who really didn't give up a lot of yards by using a release that we saw on film that typically teams weren't throwing their guys the ball when they actually did beat them.
Mm. Good stuff. Awesome stuff, Coach. Appreciate that.
Okay. Let me get into just some drills and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here, just take you through a couple things. This is just simple warming up stuff right here. Okay. Nothing crazy. Okay. Just a simple box drill. Okay. All we're doing is here is just working on, when they get to that third step, they're A-stepping. Okay. So all they're doing right now is A-step, A-step, A-step. Everybody's going to go through it and just A-step. Okay. So you see, right? So everybody's body's a little bit different, right? He has better shin angles, right? His looks more like a crossover. His A-step looks more like a crossover. Boom, right? The last guy who went, right? His is more violent. Boom, boom, right? Everybody's body dynamics are a little bit different. Same thing with this kid, basketball background, A-step. Now we're working C-step. Okay. Right, and that's just the old school box drill, right? We all did the box drill. If you played receiver, coach receiver, everybody's done the box drill. We just do it in a way where we train I train their minds, right, to always be on A, B, C, okay? A, B, C. A at the line, B at the line, C at the line. A at the top of the route, B at the top of the route, C at the top of the route. The old school slow breaking down, that was out when I stopped playing, okay? Because people found out that you could break down, right? Right? When you saw those little quick receivers, you saw guys that played basketball, they could break down in 1 step, 2 steps, right? Ocho Cinco, right? Those guys, Terrell Owens, basketball background, T.O., right? Randy Moss, they could break down in 1 step. You didn't have to do the pitter patter your feet and go around the cone and go slow, right? So now you see a lot of guys that are being elite, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, right? They're just sticking their foot in the ground and going, okay? You don't see a lot of breakdown from those guys. So we're training that here. Okay, so here, okay, what are we working? Okay, this is early in spring, just teaching them. Okay, now we're just going up, contested catches. Right, just get used to training it. We're not killing their legs, right? Boom, ball's coming quick, bad ball, simulate bad ball. Boom. Focusing, getting to this high point, getting the rebound, taking it off his helmet. The guy's grabbing me, holding me, right? DB coaches that are on here, okay? I mean, I wish y'all would stop all the holding and grabbing, okay? But we're going to practice for it anyways, okay? Good, okay? So now you see the shuffle. Now I'm in a shuffle position. I'm slowed down. Boom. Right? And we're just training it. We're playing football, not footman. So when that ball comes, everything in the stadium stops. I tell it all the time, right? You ask a great player, do you hear anything when you're playing? They don't hear nothing. All they see is the ball in the end zone, making plays. Okay. So we're not worried about the guy grabbing us. As soon as that ball comes, it's all about the ball. Okay. Now we're going back shoulder. Okay. See, he's bad. He's playing with the guy too much. Boom, right there. Back shoulder. Okay, now we're working here. Just run out of our breaks, right? Everybody does this little figure 8. Run out your break. Run out your break. Run out your break. We got to run out at the top of the route, right? He's got to keep those hips a little bit lower, but he's running. His feet are moving. Okay. A step on the cone, A step. All right, I'm just giving y'all some different drills. You can stop me when you got questions about a drill or whatever, but just give me some different drills that we do. A step.
There's a few questions here in regards to releases again.
Okay.
The first one, with young receivers, what are some good coaching points to allow them to work releases but not spend too much time at the line of scrimmage?
Well, the key thing is that we're getting speed off the ball. We're not doing anything at the line, standing there, stopping. We're going to always take that step forward. The first thing I tell people all the time is don't teach none of that dancing stuff, right? Teach speed release, win, go past his ass, run, speed release, right? The first thing I teach these guys is speed release with an A step. Okay, just straight speed release and speed release with an A step. Because I'm running off the ball, right? We're running off the ball. We're taking off. Okay. So that's the first initial phase. Is it's always we're taking off. We're getting off the ball. We're being violent off the ball. Speed release, speed release, speed release. Then we go speed release with an A step, speed release with a B step, speed release with a C step. But we're getting down the field, right? So I think you got to teach the initial attack first, the mentality of we better get off that damn ball and be violent when we get off the ball.
Hold on. I got another question here.
Okay.
How do you feel about the dragging of the feet before the A, B, or C step break?
I think when they drill it, it's not the same as when they do it full speed, right? We're not going full speed. So sometimes you get caught in that drag a little bit. And sometimes I don't really want them to be, right? Because I'm a full speed practice guy. Now, like anytime we're in 7-on-7 team, anything that we're doing and it's full speed, we're getting evaluated by it, right? Our names on it, right? I think in this period of time where we're working here is we're really just working on controlling our body, driving our sports car. How do we do that better, right? Some days we'll open it up and we'll go longer distances and you won't see foot drags because you'll see guys really taking off. They won't be thinking about their steps, right? This is early in camp, so you see some deficiencies, right? Early in spring, so you see some deficiencies. But at the same time, I think it's our job when we're in Indy to maximize what they need to do when they're in the actual team live settings, game settings. And so sometimes you see different things and you're like, I don't know if I love that because it's not fast like I like it. But you'll see is a different mentality on how hard these guys play, how fast they play, because now their legs are a little bit fresher. And I came from the old school, you just ran full speed the whole time, but by the end of the season, man, you can barely stand up, you can barely walk, you can barely run full speed. So it really doesn't, you're really doing the reverse effect.
Mm-hmm. Another question here. When you're coaching the A, B, and C step, do you tell your receivers to plant on the inside of their fit, their instep, or do you let them do that themselves?
Yeah, everything you do, basically, when you go A steps, right, we work them. So we'll work a drill where it is literally patterned to work on your instep. So it'll be left, 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 right, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So you get used to working on that. What do they call it? The duck walk, right? I played basketball. It's just in and out. It's just in and out. It's just crossovers, in and out. It's in and out. Okay. All right. So, I've been in places where guys are like, well, you're not talking about insteps. Well, okay, I know a million receivers that don't know what an instep means, and they can route up any guy you got out there, right? So you work on that, you train that movement, right? Not everybody has that ankle flexion, that shin angle where they can really, dip and bend. Like you saw number 3 when he did it, he's a natural. He's a freshman All-American, right? Right. The freshman All-American is going to be different than the guy that I coached at the FCS level or the D2 level or the high school level. He's not going to be able to just boom, break his leg down in like that and do on his insteps. But as you train it, right? As you train it, you'll see some of these guys who are stiffer be able to really make those sudden decisive moves on their insteps and be able to stick their foot in the ground. And that's what you try to train it. You train it one foot at a time, then both feet working together. Boom. And then you train, right? Now you get the upper body involved. Now you get the arms involved. Now you get the head involved, right? There's a lot of things to go, but it starts from the ground up, right? You got to get those steps in the ground fast, quick first. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. And coach, there was a few coaches that came in a little late. Could you just once again just review the A, B, and C steps, please?
Okay, so A step is a single jab step, right? B step is a double jab, so left, right, and a C step is three jabs basically, right? So left, left, or right, left, right. Okay, and basically we work those moves half the man, right? It goes all the way back to the triple threat move in basketball, right? You jab, right, to move a guy off his spot. That's how you create separation. It's not just a speed thing, right? Had a kid, Jaquez Ezer, who blew up this year, right? He was an FCS All-American for me at Howard, right? And then this year at Sam Houston State, he won a national championship, was like the top receiver out there. He literally said in a meeting, I don't like football. I'm a basketball player, but I just had to play football because this was my only opportunity to go to college. So when we talked to him, it was in and out crossover, and which is A step, or in and out, right? Is up, in and out with a crossover is an A and a B step together. And he would do those things. And he was not, at that time, he was not a 4-4 guy. He was like 4-5, 4-6, and he really worked his craft. But it took him to an All-American level, an elite level early, because he translated that in his brain to work in those A, B, C steps and create a separation from guys. When he lacked in speed, when he went against the faster guy, he was still able to beat him with those violent jab steps.
Good to go, coach.
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right, so as we keep rolling here, let's see what we got. All right, so I talked about working the violent high knee foot fire, right? Now you got the violent high knee. Okay, now you guys getting up. The defender's keying my hip. If my knees raise up, I kind of messed up his eyes a little bit. And then I jab violently at him. He doesn't know what that means. He's like, oh, what does that mean when I get violent with my knees up? Right? Watch 3 right here. Boom, violent with his knees up. Right? You saw 18 right here when he did one-on-ones, right? He was violent with the knees, did the A and B step right there, right? Run them, release. Run them one way, A step. Run them, A. Run them one way, A. Also can be used for your burst release, your circus route, right? Keeping your hips square. So I can cross over both ways. If he cuts me off inside, I can cross him up and go the other way. Boom, here it is. See how the hips stay square. You can tell who's not trained at it and who is, right? So now you see a guy right here, square it up, square it up. Okay, this is just A step, get off the ball, right? We talked about what? Okay, A step, get off the ball, boom. A step, speed, get off the ball. Okay, he messed it up. All right, now we're back to contested catches.
Coach, got a couple questions here.
Okay.
First one, actually a few. First one, for each practice during Indy, do you have a specific order of what area of wide receiver play you want to accomplish? Like, do you always stance with start and always start with stance and start drills, then go to releases, etc., or do you alternate what you start and what you end with?
We have a pre-practice plan and a post-practice plan, right? So a pre-practice plan is going to take us through everything that we need to do from a stance, start, footwork, all the things that we need to do in our progression as far as playing receiver, right? When we get to our actual Indy period, right? When we get to our actual Indy time, then we are going to go into what we need to do for that day Okay, what is most needed for that day? That's going to be the importance for the day, right? So for us, right, we're always judged on catching the ball. Okay, so we are going to always catch the ball. We are never going to go in the indie day not catching the ball. Okay, we are going to catch the ball every single time we have indie before we do go into any team scenario or setting. Okay, we always go contested catches because as soon as you get out there, okay, and you get thrown down in 7-on-7, you're like, why'd that dude do? We're going to go straight into doing what's going to make us look good out there, right? We're receivers, our job is to catch the ball. So our blocking progression, how we do blocking, okay? All right, I'm gonna give you guys the secret. I teach them how to do all the blocking drills day one of when we get equipment, okay? Day one, all right? We have this accountability thing that we do, okay? How you play without the ball plays, right? And then you guys can tell me it's foolish, you don't like it, whatever, okay? But for me, and it's worked every place that I've coached at so far, is we get up and make the guys say what's the worst thing that happened to them, what's the best thing that happened, and what their goals are. And then we make them say their why, okay? And every player gets up and says that, okay? And they got to say it in front of their brothers. They got to come out of their shell. They got to really get out there. I go first. I say the worst things that happened to me in my life. What are my goals? I get out there and say mine, okay? And we typically don't have any blocking problems, okay? We don't do blocking drills, okay? Because we created that brotherhood. And so if one of us gets in a fight or any situation that happens, that occurs on that field, we're going to block for each other. Okay. These guys are going to sell out and block their asses off for each other. Okay. Because we don't have time to spend all practice long on blocking drills. Okay. Because as soon as the ball's thrown and we don't make the play, everybody is going to be on our ass. Okay.
Kind of segues to this one question here, Coach. A coach asked, you said he has a talented group of receivers, and he was asking, how do you get your wide receivers to buy in, be unselfish? And then, and Coach kind of covered this in the beginning, so you could watch it back. But he was asking about what are some of the your wide receiver room pillars and non-negotiables to get guys, to believe in what you're coaching them up on.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a great coach, right? When you leave, a good coach, a great coach that I've been around, it felt like he didn't even need, because he got you so close and together with your group of guys. He galvanized the group, right? And I think a lot of times is when you're trying to cater to a talented guy or, this guy's this and that, you got to get all them dudes in the room to die of self when they walk in that room or walk on the field together. And how you do that is really making them understand that they are all brothers and somehow. So I've coached billionaires. I've coached kids that lived in their car. I had, all types of different situations of all different talents, right? I've coached all over the country, different places. And everywhere I've been, no matter what the kids, what their situations, what their backgrounds were, right? When they get up there and they say the worst things that happened to them. So you could have a kid that was from, when I was at Waynesboro, we had a kid that was from a trailer park and we had a kid that was from Section 8 to projects, okay? And they both had a grandparent who had cancer. So they became close and connected. They felt like, man, I really can't let you down. Okay. Because it's really about them just looking at each other and saying, I'm not letting you down. We don't play as coaches. They need to be together, right? They need to be out there as one. They need to respect the information you're giving them, and you need to serve them. But at the same time, they need to be serving each other and loving them and be looking at each other like, man, I can't let you down because I know your story. I know your struggle. You're the same as me. And I think that's alleviated a lot of the ego that happens, especially at the receiver position, because at our position, if you've ever played receiver, you're out there for 60, 70 plays and you get, let's say you're on an air raid team and y'all throw the ball all game long. You might get 10 opportunities out of 70 plays. Okay. Let's say you're on a run game team. You might get 4 opportunities, 3 opportunities. And you have got to make that, you know what I mean? And so I think that's the thing that's helped me. A lot of coaches have taken that and adapted to their teams and it's helped them. And I'd say that's one of the things that I do. Don't worry about who's talented, who's this, who's that. Don't be crippled by all that. Just get them dudes in a room, cut yourself open, tell them who you are. Don't make them search you on the internet. Tell them exactly who you are, what you're about, and your goals and all the things that happen to you. They'll be more open to share. They'll share those things to each other and then they'll play for each other.
Absolutely. Hey, you bring up a good point because it's definitely a position where, you can easily get frustrated because like you said, I mean, if you're on a team that throws the ball all day long, you still may only get 10 out of the 60 plays coming your way. So, you know, you gotta buy into everything else. And I think that's a tremendous point about being open and showing them, you know, it's more than just, you know, what you can do for me on the field.
Yeah, I mean, we've really switched from, you know, like at first it was just like, okay, we know who the star player is on the team. Now kind of everybody's has their own. I mean, other than the offensive lineman, pretty much everybody has became a selfish position in football, right? Because everybody has their brands, right? Name, image, likeness. Okay, everybody is like, man, I got to get it. I got to get it. I'm the star. I'm the star. Everybody's parents tell them that you got to be the star, right? Because they see, you know, just dollar signs. They don't really see role players anymore, right? Nobody really sees role players anymore. But when you get the guys together and they understand where do they fit on the team and they're making a valuable contribution, right? And they know each other and they're together and they get focused on that winning mindset, that together mindset of everybody eats. We can all make a play. We can all do something to change the game, right? It's about, right? I tell the guys, like, who cares if you had 100 catches if we have no touchdowns? I mean, I don't care about catches. I want guys that score touchdowns, make big plays, right? Change the game, right? Do you change the game on special teams? Where can you change the game at to help us win the game? And I think when guys are loving each other and serving each other, they're more in tune to do that and turn off their brand, you know, to do that.
Absolutely. And there's another question here, Coach. I know you're kind of getting into it, but just some coaching points for stock blocking.
Stock blocking. I mean, it's really about you want to get stripe to stripe with that guy. You want to have that 3-yard cushion of getting up on that guy. You want to take the path, right? Right. Stock blocking is a lion stalking their prey, right? I want to go up there violent, right? I want to be in a position to give myself a chance to give the runner a two-way go. You know, I want my helmet under his face mask. I want to hit him on the rise. I want to get my hands in tight. I want to run my feet on contact. I want to be the aggressor. I want to finish in a strong, dominant alpha male position. I want him to know, like, damn, that dude, like, I want that dude to get out of the way. If I can put him down, I want to put him down, right? Because that DB might have had a plan, right? Like everybody, that old saying, right? You might have had a plan, then he got knocked out, right? So it's different for a DB from a standpoint, oh, I just got to cover this dude. But then when you start putting a guy on the ground, you start you start really getting physical, violent with a guy. He goes, oh man, now he's worried about, is this dude going to hit me? And I got to cover this dude. Now you have that different edge to you. And I think, you know, anytime you talk about stock blocking in general, right, it first starts with a mentality, right? You got to first start with the mentality of how aggressive and how physical and how violent you want to be. And then you get the technique down of stepping up on a guy's toes, working my feet, running my feet on contact, being underneath them, you know, hitting them on the rise, shooting my hands, shooting my hips, you know, thumbs up, all those things.
Good to go, Coach.
All right. Let me see what else I got for y'all. Okay, so now we'll just go through some more. He did a good job here, right? Violent vertical attack, right? We talk about track stance. He's violent off the ball, right? His neck is bowed. Everything's going right at him, violent, arms, everything. Eyes are up through the DB, right? Gets up on him as far as he can, right? Before the clock goes off, we're in the red zone. So he can't get all the way up on his toes, right? But he pushes him vertical enough. Gives him a B step, left, right, and finishes. Okay. Okay, so does a good job right here. He attacks off the ball, right? Speed release, he attacks, right? He sees that he's gathering, right? Now he B steps, he gets into his route. So first he gets off the ball, that's his path. He's getting off the ball, speed release, get off the ball. B step, boom, right? Stem, finish. He knows what? He has an inside route. He knows he has to get inside at a certain time, but he takes him vertical first, right? Gets him out of that pedal. Okay. Okay. Watch number 6 here in the slot. Watch the slot guy, right? He's getting all the way to him, arm's length away. I say get to him and then dribble. Okay, so we're going to close the space. Close the space. Get up on him, right? Get up on him. Then the B step occurs. He does nothing on air. He does no wasted movement, no wasted time. He runs up on him. B step, doesn't slow down. Boom. Right? B step, doesn't slow down. Does a good job what? Working back vertical, making them think vertical again. Vertical off the ball. Gets to him, works a move. Vertical again. Sticks his foot in the ground, A step. Okay? So here you go. You got to run them release. Runs them one way, brings them back the other way with an A step. Run them. Run them. Move them off the spot. Then A step them. Okay, we watched that one already. Okay, I don't teach this release. Okay, he liked to do this release. Really here, what you see is the back shoulder. Okay, back shoulder. Okay, you see all these contested catches coming in that we're working. Obviously took that ball away, finished the play. Okay. All right. So young freshman, right? Young freshman. This dude was early enrollee. So me and him were both new in the spring. So we're learning each other, right? Foot fire, B step. He's good on his end steps. He's good on his end steps. He can play on his end steps. Right? Those young guys, right? It's really important, right? Doesn't matter if they're, I've seen it. Doesn't matter if they're NFL, Division I, FCS, D2, D3, high school. You have got to teach guys to not fight with that defender when that ball is on them, when that ball is upon them, right? That's why the contested catch drills are so good. Stays tight to him, holds his line, right? He doesn't just run outside wide. He keeps him tight. Hold that red line. You see the red line on the field. Right? He changes tempos here. Older guy, right? 5th year, super senior. Understands the tempo change, right? Okay, so there's progressions in what you can do with each guy. So we got, gets up to him. Works him. Okay. Let's see it from the back shot. Foot fire, right? He's already inside. I got him. Okay, only thing I don't like is he didn't even need to do anything with his hands, but it was good. There's the drill. There's the finish. Keeps him tight, holding that red line. Doesn't let him push him out of bounds. Okay, now we're just working a release drill. Right? We don't win until we stack. Okay? Right? Even, right? We want to stack if we can. Right? This is harder. It's always harder when there's no ball. Okay? Run them. Now you can just see the releases. Run them. A-step. Stack them. Right? Guy with quicker feet. Win with your hands, right? He's shooting his hands. I don't got to, if I can beat him with my feet, I won. He can't touch me. I'd like him to get more vertical on his line right there, right? Instead of running in there. But he's a young guy, right? That's a freshman. Now you see what? Older guy, right? So not only do you see the feet, but look at the head movement. Look at the shoulders. Right? Train the feet first. Train the feet first. Get the upper body balance going. Get the head fakes going. All that's vital. You need all that. Okay. We watch that. Watch that. Okay. So here, right? See how that first step goes forward. He's going forward. He realizes what? I got him. I don't got to do nothing. He opened the gate. Run past him. Get on top. Pull through. Boom. There it is. Now you see it. Violent high knees. Violent high knees. Violent foot fire. Boom. B-step. Get on top. His tempo's just slow. He's trying to do it. He's trying to do what he's supposed to do. His tempo's just slow. He's got to speed it up. He's got to put those feet down faster.
Got a question here, Coach.
Yep.
Do you teach any low hand technique to defeat press, like dropping release side shoulder to prevent any latching contact, or is it all feet and speed?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. We talked about grabbing the towel, right? So that is cutting off the surface area. Making sure we get skinny. If a guy's a little bit stronger than us and we need to dip down, that's the old grab the towel drill.
Good to go, Coach.
Good. We watched that one too earlier. See it again. The violent high knees. Boom. Right there for you guys that just got on. We watched this earlier, but the run them release runs them inside, right? Red zone, we got time, right? Boom. Runs him inside. Does a good job of keeping his hips square. Going forward. Gets him off the spot. B-step, beat him.
Here's another question, Coach. Any coaching points or rules for stemming routes into A or B step against soft coverage zone?
Rules as far as what?
Stemming routes into A and B steps.
No, I mean that's when the snap off point occurs, when you get to separation. So if I had to stem at the top of my route, I got to do something, right? I'm typically doing something at the top of that route. So if I stem inside and I say I got a bang 8 or a glance, a 10-yard slant, whatever you call it, right? If I stem inside, I go inside of that defender, right? And now what do I want to do? I want to fight pressure with pressure. So I want to lean back on him, right? I want to use this momentum, right? He's trying to lean on me and push me down. I'm trying to push back out on him. When we get to the intersection point, when we get to the top of the point, right? When we get to that 10-yard point, Now I'm going to jab step. I'm going to A step, stick my foot in the ground and break and rip away from him, run away from him. Does that help?
Absolutely. Another question here. When a DB has a staggered stance, like an aggressive pre-snap stance, is there a specific release you like to teach your guys to work against a more aggressive corner?
Yeah. So where I was at last year, Hawaii, we went a lot of that. We went against a lot of that in practice. And they stopped doing it when we started using the wash technique, right, that the D linemen use. So we just started mirroring their hands. And as soon as we saw that cock stance, that stagger stance, boom, as soon as we just matched their hands, boom, moved them out the way. And we beat them right off the line. Right. In the past, I would use, like my man just talked about, grabbing the towel, right, dipping, cutting off the surface area, things like that, because it worked for me. But as you train, coach different guys, you see different things that work, right? When we start doing that, it didn't matter the guy's really talent level, how quick he was. If you can mirror those hands and teach him how to, boom, you see his feet, boom, you see his stance, you know what's coming, and wash those hands out of the way, you automatically throw that guy off because he's lunging at you, right? He's lunging. If you're calm and confident, all you do is just mirror his hands, wash his hands, and move off the spot. And he's going the opposite way. So you already win.
Absolutely. Another question here. What press leverage from DBs give your guys the most trouble? Head up or half a man to their leverage?
I think you have to, it really depends on the scheme and structure, what's behind it. You know, where they trying to funnel you to, where they trying to push you to, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that. For our guys, I mean, they're going to have a plan for head up, outside eye, inside. I mean, they're going to have a plan for all three of those. But really, what happens behind that structure. So maybe he's outside for a reason, so he can let you go inside and funnel you to a guy who's standing right there.
When is the best time to use the grab the towel or low hand technique?
I feel like anytime you can shorten that thing off, you know, and you can speed release inside of a guy, it's kind of like a long arm release. I like long arm, just jab step, long arm a guy and just roll into my route. Same thing. If I can jab step and dip and that guy doesn't touch me at all, boom, and he's hard pressed at the line, I feel like that's good. I mean, that's a good technique to get into your route right now. We want to get speed off the ball.
And do you have any film on the cage technique? Was just asked.
I did, but I don't know if my boss will let me show that. So I didn't. I passed that clip.
Got you. Are you teaching adjustment? Are you teaching adjustment in stance versus press, or are you adjusting to more of a basketball-like stance?
So we go boxer stance, right? We talked about two stances, right? We play a lot of press coverage every day in practice. So our guys should be elite at the time that they're ready for the season to start. I mean, we play a lot of press, right? So when you're talking about free access stance, right? Free access stance, I'm getting all the ball that I can get, and I'm driving off the ball, right? I'm taking as much of the ball as I can get. I'm putting my foot up on the line, checking with the ref, making sure I can really drive out, get shot out of a cannon, almost like I'm down in the track stance in the blocks, and I'm getting off the ball, right? Now, if a guy's up pressing me, now I'm going to get my cleats in the grass and be ready to make my move and have a good, stable foundation, right? A good platform.
Yes, sir. Do you adjust any of your teachings when dealing with shorter wide receivers that potentially can't get away with something a taller wide receiver could?
I think everybody's body structure is different. I saw when we were doing the drills, if you look at every guy, they all move differently. And I think that you have to really study their movement patterns, you know, as you extract their movements from what they do and how they move, right? I really watch all my guys when they're training. I watch their gaits. How do they run? How do they step? You know, how do they walk? You really want to see how you can really give that guy the best advantage to use his body structure to win for him. You know, that's what we talk about. Each guy has to learn how to control their sports car, right? As receivers, you're typically the fastest guys on the team, right? You have different sizes of car, right? But that car can still do some of the things that this car can, but it can't do these other things.
Mhm.
And I think that you have to be unique in your strategy for each guy after you see their skill set and their strength.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the last question in there for now, Coach.
All right.
Good stuff. If there's any other questions before we wrap this up, if you have any more questions for Coach Marion, man, just drop it in that chat. But really want to thank you again, Coach, man, for this was awesome to get this set up, man. This was great. A lot of really good stuff. I wrote down a few things that I loved a lot of that contested stuff. I very much believe in working the contested catches. I just like how your variations, you know, with the back pedal and the side shuffle. I haven't done that. So I'm definitely going to add that to my guys and all that. So I really like that a lot. Here's another question. How do you treat press release versus condensed sets when the wide receivers are aligned tight?
Yeah, I think anytime that happens, you have to be ready for a trap corner. You have to be ready to be quick on your toes. You kind of have to work off of each other, play the two-man game. Right? Play the two-man game and setting up your releases, right? I learned that when I got to the pro level. You know, they put me in the slot and I wasn't used to slowing down my route I'm like, you just go full speed, get off the ball, you know, like go fast. And all the time, sometimes you have to change up the tempo to make sure those route patterns work out. And I think anytime that you're working in condensed sets, you know, you have to be able to play those two off of each other. You have to play that 2-man, 3-man game, depending on what type of bunch set that you have and that condensed alignment.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on it a little bit before, Coach, but I was just asked, you know, any advice you can give a first-year receivers coach. I know you gave some good stuff in regards to, you know, how you structure your room and how you open up, but any other advice you can give a first-year receivers coach?
The biggest, just love the soldiers, and the soldiers will play for you. Even if you don't say you don't know, I'm okay with saying I don't know. I'll call somebody, get you the information.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say you know. Less is more. Okay, don't try to be a guru because the kids can see right through all that. They'll know if you don't know something. For me, like I just told you, I mean, my example is this is only my second year coaching receivers. This is my 11th year coaching. Right? So for my example is when I went to coach quarterbacks and I never played quarterback, I had to straight up tell the kids I'd never play quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I was a point guard in high school. I can teach you the mentality of the position. I understand, you know, it's all about the assist and the pass and, you know, how to get the ball to the right spots. I know where the ball's supposed to go. But there's some things that I need to work on as far as, you know, your individual and your steps and how do you do these things and how do you throw the ball with accuracy? I have to work on things as a coach. Let's work through this together, you know, and I think that you just have to be open and honest with where you're at as a coach, and the guys will respect that for you. They'll play for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that you go in there and just start running off Vince Lombardi and different stuff and you have no clue. You know what I mean? I think you just have to be authentic to who you are and where you're at, and you know, and just let those kids know that you're going to do everything to become the best possible coach that you can and put them in a position to be successful. That's all they want to know. They want to know, do you care? They want to know, can you get them better and help them achieve their dreams?
Absolutely. And shoot, with the internet and Twitter, man, you can get better on the daily. So
that leads me to a point. Me and Coach Dub talked today. Keith Williams. I mean, one of the best. I seen that guy. We started, you know, like I seen San Jose City when I was in junior college years ago. He was training James Jones and all these different guys, and I kept hearing about him in the Bay Area. And I was like, man, I got to go see this dude to get my skills right. And you know, even then as a player, I went and just saw multiple receiver coaches, and I just took something from each of them. And Dub's always stayed humble and been able to help and mentor. And fellas, I mean, like, don't have an ego about trying to develop and learn out of position. I mean, I've learned from, you know, a guy named Miles Gray, my guy, Footwork King in Houston, Dwayne Brown. You know, there's a lot of different trainers I see, and I'll pick their brain, you know, and go after it. All the receiver coaches that post something, I look at it, check it out. I don't ever just turn down the information. I look at the information, assess it, and see how it can help my guys. The only ego should be helping your guys win. I mean, that should be your biggest ego is making sure your players play at an elite level.
No doubt. That's what's great about this profession. Everybody's so willing to help. And, you know, there's there's a lot of different areas that you can learn and grab stuff. As coach, as you were alluding to before, the comparison to basketball is so intense. So I've been following this basketball trainer and picked up a couple drills that he does to incorporate it on the football field. That's been tremendous. You know what I'm saying? So kind of leads to this next question here. Coach was just wondering if you could choose like your top 3 drills that you like the best, what would they be?
Well, obviously the steps, right? The contested catches. And then the biggest one is I still love, I mean, I know it's old school, but I still love the figure 8. There's something about being able to run full speed out of a break and doing the figure 8 where, the figure 8, the M drill, there's just some things that are old school and they stand the test of time, and you just got to keep using them because they work. I mean, they really work at the top of those routes when you got to run out of them and be violent at the top of your route getting out of it. So those would be the 3.
Absolutely. And we'll end on this this final question here, Coach. What does day 1 camp or practice consist of drill wise?
Well, like I told you, the first day after that heat acclimation, all that stuff is over and we get pads on. The first thing we're doing that day is we're blocking and we're getting violent. We're getting physical. Okay. So we have just teach them how to be all the way down on the ground, how to strike a bag. I mean, all the way down to the grassroots, how you strike a bag, how you bow your neck, right? Just all the physicality of what you need to do, where your hand placement is, how do you block, running your feet on contact, standing up, mirroring your partner, right? Being in good position, the 3-yard cushion, running to the 3-yard cushion. Then we do a catch the train drill, okay? So it's like getting punched in the face. How are you going to get in the ring, right? You can spar all day long, but if you've never been actually hit, right? We get a bag, guy backs up. You got to sit there, right, in your good hang clean position, get your feet moving, chopping, ready to go, and shoot your hands when that dude comes at you. He's going to come at you, okay? And we call that the catch the train drill. And so after we teach those drills, then we teach how to go down and, right, you got to block 2, right? Most dangerous man, immediate threat. How do I block 2 when one or 2 comes, right? So we take them through all the progressions of what you need to do to be an elite blocker, right? And a physical blocker. What's the mindset of that, right? How you play without the ball determines how much you love your teammates. So then we never have to talk about it again. We go through all those things, we watch and we talk about it, right? And one of the things I do that helps guys play faster on the field, I'll go through the drills and demonstrate and do the drills and show the drills in my indie meeting before we get out there to practice. We don't got time to do a dissertation on the field. That is the players' time. You can't talk them into being good players. When they're on the field and there's an hour and a half, 2 hours, you've got to be able to hit it. They got to be able to know exactly what you said in the meeting, retain the information, and roll.
I personally think that, when you do establish that day 1 mentality, the physical play in the run game, I think it translates to all aspects of receiver play. So they become physical pass catchers, physical route runners. And it just, so that's always been big for me since I've been coaching receivers. Like they already know, like that's what I care about the most. Like I want us to be, if a DB coach or a coordinator looks at us on film, I want them to say that this is the most physical group of receivers that they're going to line up against. And it just, everything translates and the selflessness comes out and it's all good after that. Let me just check if there's, Coach, would you mind sharing any type of contact information if anybody wants to follow up with you on any questions? What's the best way they can contact you?
Twitter's the best way. Just at Brennan Marion, the number 4, BRENNANMARION, the number 4, Twitter.com. That's the easiest one. And then from there, I usually give guys my personal cell. And, I just remember being a high school coach and, there's only a few coaches, the ones that I played for, that really answer the phone for me and get information from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's been tremendous, man. Like I said earlier today, man, I appreciate, our connection and the information you've provided me with and helping me become a better receivers coach, man. So, there's a list of guys that I'm truly grateful for. And that's what's great about this community, man. Everybody's willing to help and, like you said, push those egos to the side and just be willing to chop it up and help us just improve each and every day. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about the guys we coach, and helping those guys, like you said, achieve their dreams and get them better. So, continue to push that forward and certainly don't feel bad, feel shy to reach out to coaches, man. I mean, yeah, people are busy. They may not get back to you right away, but everybody's here to help for sure.
No doubt. No doubt. Justin, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, this was great, dude. This was great. Yeah, this was awesome. Coaches, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. This was, once again, to get back on here and do another clinic talk is always a lot of fun, especially when you get another great coach up here. So this has been great. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. I know I did. Of course, you can watch it back on the drive at a later time if you missed it or you came in late. And if there's anything I could do, reach out to me. Once again, thank you to Coach Marion and all the coaches that came in and checked us out, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, man.